Billionaire Woman dressed herself as a poor cleaner and found true love in the heart of a humble soldier. In the heart of Chicago, one of the nation's most influential tech companies stood tall, Vortex Innovations, a multi-billion-dollar empire, known for its cutting-edge AI and renewable energy breakthroughs. The glass tower gleamed under the city skyline, its lobby bustling with sharp-dressed employees and busy executives. But behind the gleaming walls and boardroom meetings was a secret only one woman knew. At just 32 years old, Claire Mitchell was one of America's youngest billionaires and the driving force behind Vortex. But despite her success, Claire carried a quiet pain. She had grown tired of the endless charades, the smiles that vanished once her money was known, the friendships bought and sold, the empty promises of love that came with the price tag of her fortune. "I'm done," Claire confessed to her trusted personal assistant Mark as they looked over the company's latest annual report. "I want to know if someone can love me, not for my wealth, but for me." Mark raised an eyebrow. "You're serious? Pretending to be a cleaner? That's risky." Claire's eyes sparkled with determination. "Exactly. If he or she can love me at my lowest, then they deserve me at my best." The next morning, Claire erased the polished CEO from her reflection. She cut her hair short, donned faded, oversized clothes, worn sneakers, and a baseball cap pulled low to shadow her face. She darkened her complexion with subtle makeup and softened her voice to a low, tired tone. No longer Claire Mitchell, the billionaire heiress, she became Anna, the new homeless cleaner assigned to the streets and shelters around the city. When Anna approached the local veteran outreach center for her first shift, the guard eyed her skeptically. "What's your business here?" he asked. "I'm here to clean," she replied quietly. Inside, the worn walls and faded posters told stories of sacrifice and resilience. It was here Anna met Sergeant David Harris, a humble soldier who had served 3 tours overseas and now worked tirelessly to help fellow veterans find their footing again. Days passed and Anna worked hard, her back aching from scrubbing floors and her hands raw from mopping. But what surprised her most was David's quiet strength, the way he treated everyone with respect, no matter their story. As people ignored or judged her on the streets, David's kindness shone through like a beacon. Little did Anna know this unlikely friendship was about to change both their lives forever. Every day, Anna moved between 2 worlds. By daylight, she was the invisible cleaner, her oversized jacket hiding the sharp businesswoman beneath. Her tired eyes masked a restless mind, and the rough voice was a shield she wore like armor. But at night, behind closed doors, Claire Mitchell was still there, the woman who had built an empire from nothing, longing for something money couldn't buy. She watched David carefully. He never asked about her past, never judged her clothes or her tired smiles. He treated her like a person, worthy and real. Yet Anna couldn't let him see the cracks beneath the mask. Every time David shared a story about his struggles, about the sacrifices he made, and the dreams he still held, Anna felt her walls tremble. She wanted to tell him the truth, to drop the act. But fear held her back. What if he walked away? What if the real Claire, flawed, vulnerable, and rich, was someone he could never love? So, she cleaned floors with silent resolve. She listened with a quiet heart, and she kept her secret buried deep beneath the worn clothes and weary eyes. But the harder she pretended, the more real David became, and the more impossible it felt to keep the mask on much longer. Days turned into weeks. Anna and David's paths crossed more often, whether during morning coffee runs or quiet moments helping veterans fill out job applications. David never treated Anna like she was invisible. Instead, he shared stories of his childhood in a small town, his dreams of starting a family someday, and the battles he fought, both overseas and inside himself. Slowly, Anna began to lower her guard. One chilly afternoon, David noticed Anna, shivering as she wiped down a worn bench outside the shelter. "Here," he said, pulling off his jacket and draping it over her shoulders. She looked up, caught off guard by the kindness shining in his eyes. "No one's ever done that for me," she whispered. David smiled gently. "Everyone deserves to be seen." That moment was the first crack in her armor. As they spent more time together, laughter began to sneak into their conversations. Soft, genuine laughter that warmed the coldest days. Anna found herself craving those moments. David's easy smile, his steady presence, the way he made her feel safe without ever asking for anything in return. And David? He started to see beyond the ragged clothes and tired eyes. He saw a woman with a strength that inspired him, a heart that matched his own. But beneath the growing warmth, Anna's secret weighed heavier. Every smile shared, every moment stolen, brought them closer, and made the truth harder to hide. Anna and David grew closer. The walls around her secret began to shake. Back at Vortex Innovations, rumors swirled about the mysterious new cleaner making rounds near the Veterans Center. Her absence from the usual executive meetings didn't go unnoticed. Mark, Claire's loyal assistant, worried. "Boss, this charade, it's getting risky. Someone might find out." Claire nodded, her heart heavy. She wanted to believe her mask could hold, but every passing day felt like walking a tightrope over a canyon. Meanwhile, David's world was growing complicated too. His fellow veterans, protective and suspicious, began asking questions. "Who's this woman hanging around? The center? You sure she's legit?" David shrugged off their concerns, but he couldn't ignore the uneasy glances and whispered doubts. Then came the day the press arrived. A local journalist had caught wind of the billionaire's cleaning stunt and was sniffing for a story. David watched helplessly as cameras flashed and questions flew. Anna's carefully crafted disguise threatened to unravel with every headline. Could their fragile bond survive the truth? And more importantly, was David ready to face the real Claire, beyond the mask? That evening, alone in her small apartment, Claire stared at her reflection, half in costume, half herself. The weight of the lie pressed down harder than ever. She thought about David, the man who had seen kindness in her when she showed only shadows. She knew she had two choices: keep hiding behind the mask or risk everything by revealing the truth. Taking a deep breath, she picked up her phone and dialed David. His voice answered on the second ring, calm but curious. "We need to talk," she said softly. "No more pretending," David agreed, and they met at the quiet park bench where they first really connected. Claire looked him in the eyes and said, "I'm not the woman you think I am. I'm Claire, CEO of Vortex Innovations." David's expression didn't change. No shock, no anger, just quiet understanding. "I had to know if you could love me without the wealth," she confessed. "But I realize now. I was the one who needed to love you for who you are." David reached out, taking her hand. "Truth takes courage," he said, "and I'm ready to face it. With you." In that moment, the masks fell away. Two hearts, raw and real, beating stronger than any fortune could buy. The next morning, word spread through the Veterans Center and beyond. Claire Mitchell, the elusive billionaire CEO, was no longer a mystery. The woman who had posed as a homeless cleaner was revealed. Some veterans whispered in disbelief, some smiled knowingly. But no one was more uncertain than David. He met Claire at the center, the weight of unspoken questions hanging heavy between them. "Why?" he finally asked, searching her eyes. "Why hide from me?" Claire's gaze faltered, then strengthened. "I was scared," she admitted, voice breaking. "Scared that you'd see only the money, the power, that the real me, flawed and vulnerable, would never be enough." David stepped closer, his hand brushing hers. "But I didn't love a mask," he said quietly. "I loved you, the woman who helped others without expecting anything, the woman who listens, who cares." Tears welled in Claire's eyes. "For the first time someone saw me," she whispered. "Not as a CEO, but as Claire. Not for my fortune, but for my heart." Around them, the world seemed to hold its breath. Veterans gathered, watching the moment unfold, a billionaire and a soldier united, not by status or wealth, but by genuine connection. David pulled Claire into a gentle embrace. "We don't need riches," he said. "We just need each other." And in that embrace, years of loneliness, doubt, and fear melted away, replaced by hope, trust, and a love born from truth. The city skyline outside the center gleamed, but nothing shone brighter than the bond they had forged, raw, real, and unbreakable. Weeks later, Claire and David stood side by side, not as CEO and cleaner, but as partners building a new life together. At Vortex Innovations, Claire had invited David to join her team, not because of his rank, but because of his heart and dedication to helping others. Together, they launched a new initiative, supporting veterans with job training and housing, giving back to those who sacrificed so much. Away from the spotlight, they shared simple moments, quiet dinners, walks through the city parks, and laughter that needed no masks. Claire no longer felt the need to hide. David never cared about her fortune. He loved the woman behind the success. Their love wasn't perfect. It was real, tested by truth and courage. And as they faced the future hand in hand, they knew one thing for certain. True love doesn't wear a mask. It sees the soul. And in each other, they had found a love that money could never buy. Like and sub. More stories coming. Stay with us.